Jay, obviously a disappointing day for the Sports Foundation. I know a lot of work went into getting ready for the women's Final Four, and then what has happened here in the last 48 hours, where first it was going to be no fans in attendance, and now it's no event at all. The Sports Foundation's thoughts on what has happened here.
Well, the Sports Foundation is just part of the local organizing committee, which is made up of Tulane University, University of New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl, and the Sports Foundation together, along with other partners here in the city. The ASM, who manages the Superdome and Arena, the Convention Center, the city, the New Orleans and Company. There's so many tentacles to hosting an event like this. And I can say on behalf of the local organizing committee, we're disappointed, but we're in full support of what the NCAA's decision is. It's the right decision for the kids and the student athletes. It's the NCAA's job to protect and look out for it and have the student athlete first. And I think today's decision really reflected that. So we're in full support of it. Are we disappointed that the event's not coming? Absolutely. But we understand, and it's the right thing to do. So hopefully this will lead to having the women's Final Four come back to New Orleans for what would have been a fourth time this year. I guess maybe a fifth time been awarded to New Orleans. So that would be a record fifth time if it's somewhere in the near future.
I guess this is something a little bit different for you guys. You've dealt with everything imaginable out there when it comes to hosting events, from having to reschedule a Super Bowl after 9/11 to moving a New Orleans Bowl to Lafayette, to picking up NBA All-Star on a moment's notice and being able to host it. But I guess an all-out cancellation of an event is a little something different as well.
It is. Sports Foundation served as the host committee staff for the last three Super Bowls that were here. In particular, in 2001, after 9/11, we had to move the game a week later. And in order to keep the game here, because of the cancellations of the regular season games right after 9/11, and so that was a difficult save and a costly save, but it really strengthened the relationship with the NFL, which was already really strong, and helped us with other events. A year later, if you remember, the Iraq War broke out right before the men's Final Four in 2003. And so we were scrambling the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to that event with all the security measures and everything else that we had to adjust on the fly. And so with Katrina, the movement of the New Orleans Bowl to Lafayette, we've been through that. So, when it comes to crisis management for major events, we've got a pretty good history underneath our belt. And the main thing is to remain calm and rely on the good people that are surrounding you. And we've got great partners here with Tulane University, University of New Orleans, and the Sugar Bowl to make quality decisions. And, of course, work together with our friends who are the event owners, in this case the NCAA, who we've been in business with for 30 years now, since the 1991 Women's Final Four was held at University of New Orleans. And so to work with them and to continue the relationship, and hopefully this will lead to good things somewhere down the road.
Which leads me to my last question, and that's obviously this has just happened here in the last 2 hours as we speak, and it's far too soon, and what's going on in the NCAA, I'm sure their heads are spinning. But do you feel like you can now go back and maybe get the women's Final Four back sooner than maybe you would have, going back down? We've seen it happen with other events that way, not necessarily involving New Orleans, but it's happened with other events that when there are circumstances that cause a movement or a cancellation, you might get it back quicker.
Well, we're certainly not talking about that right now. We are trying to get this up and down week behind us and to really get a grasp of everything that's happening, not just for the Women's Final Four, but in our city and in our state and across the country. It's kind of hard to fathom. It really is, everything that's going on. And it's extremely important that we remain vigilant and make good decisions and make sure that our partners, like the NCAA, know that we want them back. So we'll have those conversations at some point in time about getting the event back. But New Orleans is a very popular place, so we've got to find the right year, the right time in order to be able to bring them back, and I know we'll do that sometime in the future.